Hey y'all, the purposes of this video is to see if the microphone that Mary Jo got me off of Amazon helps with the volume when I'm driving. So let me see, what can we talk about this morning? Hazel's going for her, is it biannual when you go twice a year? She's going in for her checkup. I'm not sure that this flea medicine has agreed with her, and I may end up getting her the topical. She was sick for a couple of days. She was lethargic. She threw up a couple of times. Now, keep in mind that this girl does not chew her food. Okay, she does not chew. So when she lost her food, it was all whole food. That's gross. I'm sorry, you guys. Nothing is sacred here on this channel. I also want to say that a few of you that commented on my last video, finding housing, well, not the last, but the one before. Oh, this microphone is, oh, there we go. Anyway, a few of you commented that, you know, it wasn't fair for us to expect the taxpayers to pay for low-income housing for us. Well, as I said, I worked for 46 years. 46 years, you guys. That's not a drop in the bucket. I paid in with lots of taxes. I paid into my Social Security. I paid into disability. So I do not feel in any way, shape, or form that I am taking advantage of other people's taxes. And the other thing that was brought up was those wonderful, wonderful women that stayed home with their children and don't really have any Social Security to speak of. Well, you know what? The way HUD Section 8 works is they take a third or 30% of your gross income. Now, when I used to manage senior properties that had Section 8 and HUD, 30% of your income includes if you make $50 a month. They take 1/3 or 30%. I don't know where I'm getting that 1/3. But anyway, that's what they take. It doesn't matter what your income is, ladies, gentlemen. It doesn't matter because they're going to take 30%. So if you think that you didn't pay into your Social Security or whatever, and you have practically no income or even zero income. I have known people who paid $17 a month for rent on one of my properties. So that addresses that. The other thing I want to talk about is the handful of people who commented and said, I am never leaving the van life. Well, you can say that all you want, and I hope and pray that you will have some kind of an illness that will strike you down like that. Because if you don't, sooner or later, you are going to have to give up the van life. If you live long enough, there's going to come a time in your life when you can't drive, when you're too sick to live in such a small space. You might need assisted living. Anything can happen, you guys. And I wasn't saying give up the van life. I don't want to give it up either, okay? I will always have some kind of a van with a bed and potty, and I've said that over and over and over again. But I'm not saying give up the van life. I'm just saying that in some point in your life, it may very well be a fact that you have to. I want to get back to van life myself, and I'm working towards that. You know, if I can't sell Tank in a reasonable amount of time, then I will keep him. I just won't be able to travel very much. I'll have to be, you know, urban camping and doing just what I did before. And that does not bother me. Yes, the modern conveniences are very nice, but I've done without them before, and I can do without them again. And I thank God every day for my health and my ability to live independently no matter where I am, in my van, in an apartment, whatever. And the thing I love about Section 8 or HUD is that you don't have to necessarily live in an apartment, which I would prefer not to. I managed apartments for 17 years. I'm like most other people. I don't like having anyone above me or below me because I've been told I walk like an elephant. That was back when I weighed 109 pounds. Now at 140, I'm sure I would be too noisy to live on top of somebody. So I would, if I got that housing, try my best to find a duplex, a triplex, a small house, anything, a guest house. Now, the thing about it is that landlords, people with rental property of any kind, have to agree to accept HUD and Section 8. Not all people with rental properties want to do that. They've had bad experiences in the past, or they've heard the horror stories of HUD and Section 8 people trashing the property, causing them untold amounts of money repairing damages. Now, I'm going to say that if you damage a property that you're living in, you will cause yourself to not be able to rent anywhere. You will lose your HUD and your Section 8 if these damages are reported to HUD. They are not going to subsidize housing for people who are destroying property. And if you owe a landlord money for any reason, if you have not paid your rent and you have an eviction on your record, or if you did damages and you did not pay for those damages, nobody's going to touch you. And it will come out. It will be found out, okay? So I urge people, don't damage property, you guys. You're damaging your ability to have housing. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I have had to evict people for both of those reasons, non-payment of rent and trashing their property. Now, the one piece of advice that I always give people with rental property is this. Don't go by what's on paper. There are landlords, because there are laws, that there are only specific questions you can ask. You can't say, did this person trash your property? That's illegal for the landlord to answer that. The way that I handled that, and a lot of other managers that I know handled it is if someone asks you a question, you respond with dead silence. Dead silence. You don't answer. Okay? That usually will get through to people. So, good grief. Oh, I hate it when people honk their horn. If I was 80, it could cause me to have a heart attack. But anyway, you guys, don't think that you can trash someone's property, leave, not pay for damages, or not pay your part of the rent, no matter how much it is. If it's a lot, if it's a little. If you get evicted, you will never be able to rent again unless you find some desperate person who has a substandard shack in the ghetto. And HUD definitely is not going to pay for that because they have very high standards and properties are inspected. Oh, I forgot. What I was trying to say, the advice that I give to anyone who owns property, whether you accept HUD or Section 8 or not, I've had a lot of people who trashed property and they were not low income, not by a long shot, you guys. It's not just poor people that are trashy. Let me tell you, I have had some horrible people that had plenty of money and they trashed my property. So the advice I give is this. Do a surprise visit to the person that you are considering renting your property to. Now, because of fair housing, you have to do the same thing with every applicant. You can't just pick one person because you suspect that they might not take care of property. You have to do it for everyone that you take an application on. You pay a surprise visit to where they are now currently living. When you knock on the door and they open it, you don't even have to go in. Just looking will tell you what you need to know. And also the condition of their automobile. If their car is full of trash and filthy, you can pretty much know they're going to treat your rental property the same way. And you want to stay away from those folks. Okay? That's just good business. And if you check the properties of all the applicants that you consider, then you will be fine with fair housing. No one can say, oh, they came to visit my house and then they didn't approve me. That's the landlord's discretion. But to follow fair housing, you have to go to every person's abode that you are considering renting to. So that's my advice. If I owned rental property, you better believe I'd be checking those people out. Just because somebody hasn't been evicted for non-payment of rent doesn't mean they're going to make good residents and take care of your property. So anyway, you guys, that is the advice I give. And I have even known low-income properties that made this a part of their approval process. Every person that came up on the list to have their apartment low income, they make a home visit. And if you do it for every applicant, yeah, it takes more people. It takes more time, but it saves you thousands and thousands of dollars. in repair work when that person leaves your property. Okay? And I also did inspections, like I said, twice a year. You give a 48-hour notice, you can enter the property, you can inspect it. Now, I don't mean go through their drawers and, you know, all of that stuff. Just a cursory look. And you also have your maintenance man check everything. Running toilets, leaky faucets, damages to things. That helps you keep your property in good shape and identifies people that may need to go. So, oh, and also take a lot of pictures. Take pictures before people move in and date them and save them. So that if somebody damages your property and you need to go to court, you will have evidence. Watch Judge Judy, okay? You will learn how important documentation is and photos. That's it for today, you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day and do something fun, okay? Love y'all. Bye.